1010 wins at 92.3.
Good morning, everyone. August 21, 2023.
The world.
Good morning. It's 73 degrees at 6. Make that 7:40 on this Monday, August 21st. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. 7 people hit by a car in a crosswalk in Herald Square last night. Residents in Southern California dealing with Tropical Storm Hillary get an earthquake thrown in for good measure. MTA bus and subway fares going up today. Happy Monday. How much more will it cost? 2 more migrant centers opening up on Randall's Island and Staten Island. More protests and arrests. Checking sports, Yanks losing streak now at 8 after losing again to Boston. Mets win their 4th in a row, 7-3 over the Cards. Time for your check of traffic and transit on the ones. Let's check in with Karen Stewart.
All right, we're going over to the Hudson River crossings first. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. We've got 20 in at the George, 20 in at the Lincoln. The inbound side of the Holland Tunnel has about a 25-minute wait, no more than that. If you're traveling in New Jersey, I've got good news on Route 3 in case you haven't experienced it yet. Route 3's better. Eastbound into MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, we did have a disabled vehicle in the center. I believe they cleared themselves, but they're gone. No matter how they got gone, they're gone. Northbound 287 past exit 2 for Route 27. We've got an accident blocking the left-hand lane. Now, if you're traveling in the boroughs, the westbound Cross Bronx and the southbound Bruckner are delayed from White Plains Road out into the Sheridan Expressway. The westbound Cross Bronx delay actually goes a little bit further than that to around Cortona Avenue. We're jammed on the westbound BQE now from Greenpoint Avenue to the LIE, and then we've got more delays from there down to Metropolitan Avenue, but we're not jammed from that stretch. From the Kosciuszko Bridge down to Metropolitan, we're just pretty heavy. Alternate side of the street parking rules and regulations are in effect today. Our next report, 7:51. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Wins News Time, 7:42. An out-of-control car plowed through 7 people moving through a crosswalk last night in Herald Square. Glenn Schuck was on the scene.
Just before midnight is when this chaos happened here in Herald Square. A 29-year-old woman driving this Honda Accord blew through a light apparently and hit 7 pedestrians in the crosswalk here at 36th and 6th. It's right in front of this Taco Bell in the southeast corner. 1 person in serious condition among those pedestrians. 5 others are in less serious condition at the hospital. A short time later, after striking 2 vehicles, we're told, on the LIE in Queens, right near the ramp to the Clearview, the woman was finally taken into custody by the NYPD. As we wait word on her name and possible charges, she is in the meantime being checked out, we're told, at North Shore University Hospital. Glenn Schuck, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM, 36 and 6.
Well, Southern California already dealing with Tropical Storm Hillary, and now you could throw in a moderate earthquake into the mix. This one centered in Ojai in Ventura County. The U.S. Geological Society says it's registered 5.1 on the Richter scale.
The double whammy, an unprecedented tropical storm and earthquake, both at the same time, is a coincidence, according to seismologist Dr. Lucy Jones, retired from the USGS.
There is no particular relationship between the weather and what's happening underground.
She says there were 4 shocks over the weekend and there is a 1 in 20 chance something bigger is coming. They will now study to understand the exact fault it was on. Alex Stone, ABC News, in Los Angeles County.
Authorities say there's a good chance Hillary becomes the wettest known tropical storm to douse Nevada, Oregon, and Idaho as well. Wins News Time, 7:44. 3 kids taken to the hospital in critical condition, but they are stable now after a fire broke out in a Brooklyn building yesterday morning. Officials say the children were left home alone at 383 Livonia Avenue in Brownsville. A parent has been taken into custody. Here's FDNY Chief of Department John Hodgins.
Once it gets into that open space, it's a wide open space, the whole size of that corner. And it's old lumber, it's an older building, and it just takes off.
Mayor Adams spoke to Channel 7. He says there's an investigation into why and where was that parent.
We're praying for the 3 children and the entire family, but the investigators are going to sort everything out on what was the cause of the fire and where the family members were at the time.
Police are trying to find a guy who shoved a 63-year-old woman to the ground back on August 18th. The assault happened at 6th Avenue and West 11th Street. The suspect took off on foot southbound down 6th Avenue. The victim took herself to the hospital with a broken arm. Anyone who may have any information can call Crime Stoppers. Hey, everybody, welcome to Monday. The MTA bus and subway fare hikes go into effect today.
The cost of a weekly and monthly Metro North and Long Island Railroad ticket going up by up to 4.5%. And some other ticket types will see a 10% increase. From here in New Rochelle to Grand Central, the cost of a monthly ticket will be $233, $83 for a weekly. The MTA says folks are still paying less for the monthlies than they did before the pandemic, and they call the fare hikes modest. And when you combine the now more expensive trip on city subways and buses, all of that will bring in hundreds of millions in revenue. For Connecticut commuters, they will not see increases for now because Connecticut does not have to follow changes made in New York, although they typically do. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in New Rochelle.
A 24-year-old woman is dead after being shot in the face in the Bronx last night. Police say LaShawn Andrews was shot at 422 East 178th Street. She was taken to St. Barnabas Hospital, where she later died. There have been no arrests, and the investigation continues. Wins News Time, 7:47. Another day, another migrant shelter opens. Actually, two of them. That means more protests and more people in handcuffs.
The arrest of several protesters who are upset about a migrant shelter being set up on Staten Island has outraged Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis.
And they were protesting peacefully and were arrested, which is wrong. And I'm calling for our district attorney to drop any and all charges.
A former assisted living facility in Island Shores is expected to become the latest new shelter to house migrants that are being bused into the city. Protesters have gathered at many new shelter locations.
Said they were peacefully protesting, which is their right. They're rightfully angry.
Darius Ryancy is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
Well, the president and first lady are headed to Hawaii today to see firsthand the awful destruction caused by those wildfires.
A statement from a White House official says President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden will meet with emergency responders and survivors, as well as federal, state, and local officials who are working on the response to the deadly wildfire. Prior to that, though, the first thing the first couple will do after landing in Hawaii will be to board helicopters for an aerial tour of the impacted areas of Lahaina. President Biden will also deliver remarks during which he'll announce the appointment of FEMA Region 9 Administrator Bob Fenton to oversee the long-term federal recovery effort. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
Wins News Time, 7:48. After three more people died in car crashes on Long Island over the weekend, the number of folks killed in car wrecks is just way too high.
This month alone, 21 people have died in traffic crashes across Long Island, including 3 people in 3 separate crashes in Suffolk County this weekend. And 2 weeks ago in Massapequa, a family of 4 lost their lives. The Trip report says traffic fatalities jumped 24% in 1 year alone on the island. Eric Alexander from Vision Long Island tells me some roadways need to be redesigned to stop speeders.
We always said, we can't afford to do some of these changes. There's money in the federal budget, the $1 billion Infrastructure Act, precisely for these types of improvements.
He says one problem, wider roadways. People are more likely to speed on them. He says the roads need to be narrowed on the island, and in some cases, more lights need to be installed. Sophia Hall, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Long Island.
All right, guys, thank you so much for this quick joining my morning commute to work and listening to 1010 Wins in the New York Metropolitan area. I appreciate all the viewers who tuned in to check out these videos. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you on the next Driving in the News.